Hello, Slicey Dicers. This is Brian with another knife video for you. Today, we're going to be talking about my top 10 knives of 2021 so far. These are not in there. I just wanted to give you guys something to look at. These are actually my 2020 winners for the end of the year. I split them up into various price categories at the end of the year. I'm not doing that for this one. It's just my top 10 with a couple honorable mentions so far this year. This has been kind of a weird year where there's been supply issues. People didn't know if Blade Show was going to happen, so some people release stuff early. Some people are releasing stuff late just because they can't get it. So usually I do this middle of the year because it's Blade Show time, and that's kind of like right before a huge batch of new stuff comes out. I honestly don't know if that's going to happen this year at Blade Show. I know there's some new stuff, but I've also talked to a lot of manufacturers who've said, we were planning on releasing XYZ, it's not going to happen. Or we are releasing XYZ, we're showing it at Blade Show, but it's not going to be available till the fall. So I think more now than ever, it's a good time just to do top 10 with a couple honorable mentions of the year so far. Again, no price difference this time, no splitting up that way. This was my budget knife of the year, under $100. This is the Civivi Ortis. I do 100 to 300. That's a new thing I did last year. I used to just do under 100, over 100. That was the ProTech Malibu. And over 300 was the Demco 8020. So put these aside, talk about what we're going to be bringing out here. So what are my criteria for these? Same as it is at the end of the year. Must be a readily available production knife. With a little caveat, some of these are not as readily available as others, but at the end of the year, I do factor that in. So keep that in mind. Some of them I know people are going to say, well, those are really hard to get. Yeah, but they are being made, so they're still in it. And it has to be new for 2021. I have to have reviewed it, or at least handled it. So far, I've reviewed all of these, or at least done like an unboxing or something. Sometimes at the end of the year, there are ones that I just got to handle. I didn't have time to do the review yet, because there always seems to be a few sneaking out at the end of the year. Not that case in this time. And there is no particular order. And these are just no price considerations, so keep in mind right now it's going to be a list of 10 with 2 honorable mentions. This is going to go to at least 25 at the end of the year when I split stuff up. Last year I did top 10 under 100, top 10 100 to 300. I only had 5 for over 300, but because that kind of reflects, I think, my viewership and their price tastes. So yeah, you're not going to see any customs. You're not going to see any stuff that's just super impossible to get. It has to be regular production. No sprint runs, no nothing like that. So without further ado, let's get going with a couple of honorable mentions. This is one that I just need to spend more time with, but I know everybody loves it. Some people really hate it, but a lot of people really love it. It's been a very controversial knife. I'm going to wait a few months and see what the overall feel of it is. These are my choices, but I'm a human. I get influenced by other people. So that would be the Civivi Elementum button lock. Now, this is the more expensive version in the $104 with the darkened Damascus blade and the marble carbon. There's a much less expensive version for $66. I think that's probably the better way to go, to be honest with you. But this is the one they sent me. I like it. It's an Elementum. It has that great Elementum blade. It's bigger than a regular Elementum, which is cool. I like button locks. They're a lot of fun, but this is only a button lock. There's no thumb stud, no flipper tab, no nothing. Only way to open it is to push that button and flick it out, or push that button and pull it out two-handed style. Not in love with that, but I really like everything else about it. So once things are split out, depending on what comes out in the year, might this make one of the top 10 lists? It might. It'd be in the, I don't know, but do I put it in the budget? Do I put it in the 100 to 100? Yeah, I probably put it in the budget one. I'd probably just pretend this was the $66 one. But we'll see. So the Elementum gets an honorable mention for sure. Next one that I recently reviewed, just because I think it's, I don't know, I find it to be extremely interesting, but I don't know if it's going to make it at the end of the year. That would be the K-Bar Becker folder, or the BK40. I just find for a $40 knife, it's AUS-8, which people are freaking out about, but I don't know, AUS-8 isn't that horrible. It does have fancy plastic handles, but they're really nice. K-Bar, I like the company. They're from Olean, New York, right down in my neck of the woods. Maybe I'm a bit of a homer because of that. I don't know. Another one that I just need to spend some more time with and see if it's going to make the list at the end of the year. All the rest of these, the top 10 I'm going to give you, pretty sure is gonna make one of the list. There would have to be a lot of new stuff come out for these ones not to make the list. They will be joined by others, but I think all of these are going to make one list or the other. So again, these are in no particular order, just other than when I wrote them down and when I looked up the prices. So we have first up a choice that I think everyone's going to have in their top 10, but not in this version. The Benchmade Adamas. Notice I did not say mini. I did get to handle a mini finally. I have not gotten one in long enough to do a review on it. I prefer the large one. I don't know. It's a big bruisery of a knife. The mini is just shorter, and I don't know. I like the big full one. If you're gonna go big bruiser, go big bruiser. You know, as Michael Ehrmantraut, one of the best characters ever written for television on Breaking Bad, said, no half measures. So I like the big one. I understand. If you live in an area, you need the smaller one, but I like the larger one. It is a great knife. It's one that I was not excited about at all, like in the catalogs and stuff, and everybody else was freaking out about, and I got it kind of late, and man, I really like it. That's why I don't have the mini. I didn't get it till the full size came out, and I love it. Carried a lot. It is a big bruiser, but it does carry pretty well. Really nice deep carry clip. $238. So this would go in that 100 to 300 category. But a crew wear steel, one of my absolute favorites. I really like the Adamas, but again, I like it in the full size. I think you're going to see it in most people's list in the mini, but I like the full size. Next up would be the ProTech Rockeye. I was fortunate to get one of these pretty darn early. I had to wait a little while before I could talk about it. About $225, not bad at all. S35 VN. It is an updated version of the Les George designed Rockeye. It is an out the side auto, in case you couldn't tell that by the bang. And it does bang. I just love this thing. It's just kind of a bruiser, but not really. Just an S35 VN, which you're starting to see a lot more higher end steels with ProTechs. But for a while, you know, they were using 154 variants and stuff. So it's cool to see the S35 VN. The price is very reasonable. It feels every bit of $225. It feels honestly even more expensive than that. And I just love the overall design. It comes in lots of fancier versions too. This is the most basic one, and it's the one that I would want. It comes with one like a skull on it and stuff, and there's like blackout variants and everything. But super, super cool. Love the Rockeye. It's definitely become one of my favorite ProTechs, you know, which is kind of saying something. Because I am kind of a ProTech fanboy. Next up, going a bit more budget. This one is definitely going to be on the list at the end of the year, because I think it's the best thing CRKT has honestly ever made, and that would be the Pilar III. This is the D2 version, the more expensive one. It's $52. You can tell because it has the gold, the gold backspacer on it. But Voxnay's design, which just means excellent ergonomics. I always call him my hand twin because all of his knives are so comfortable, but you know what? Everybody says that, so I think he's just really good at ergonomics. I don't think we're hand twins. But I love the D2 version. I think it's worth a bit more to spend the $52. For $39, you can get an 8CR one on bearings, and it's just smooth as smooth can be. Spidey flick it. I mean, obviously, owning a channel, I have a lot of really expensive knives, and this is not really expensive. I don't do customs, but I have a lot of, $400, $500, $600 knives. This is a $50 knife that I grab all the time. I'm doing, like I said, on the 27th. I do my most carried of the month at the end of the month. This is on it. And it probably will be for quite some time. I just grab it all the time. Definitely one of the. It's the leader in the clubhouse for a budget knife of the year, I think. Next up, one that's kind of in that category of, is it really easy to get or is it not really easy to get? We'll see as the year goes on, and that would be the TRM Shadow. I got, again, one of these pretty early on. I got an early release of it, had to keep it quiet for a little bit. This is one of the very first production ones. There have been some slight improvements when they went to absolutely full-scale production. I have handled one of those, so I know those different improvements. They're pretty slight, but they are noticeable. $279. 20 CV, does have G10 handles. A lot of people are saying not paying $279 for G10, but if you could see it in person, show it in the new glorious 4K if it will bother to focus for me. It's really nice. It's really nice, and that really nice pivot and that kind of sunburst effect. I really like it. It's very comfortable. The ergonomics are just outstanding. The blade is great. The 20 CV is holding up great. And again, the only downside to it, and what always hurts TRM at the end of the year awards, even though they have won a couple, I think, is the availability. They keep working on it. They keep buying more machines. Now it's really a supply thing like it is with everybody else. I think once supplies come up, maybe end of the year, early next year, maybe you'll see TRMs be a little bit more available. I think you're going to see that with everybody. ProTech too having issues. It's just there's supply issues all the time because of the ongoing global bastard. So, but I do love the Shadow a lot. I've loaned this out to a couple people. They all liked it too. The Shadow is just an outstanding design. Next up would be a very recent addition, but one that I knew was probably going to make this list because I'm so glad they finally settled on a version. This is the American Blade Works Model 1 version 6. I wanted to put the version 4 on last year, but then they released a 5. I heard there was a 6 coming. They were constantly changing versions, so it was really difficult to decide which version do I put on. Now they have settled at the V6. This is its final form, as they would say in Dragon Ball Z, of this knife. The Model 1, this is it. There's not going to be more changes. This is it. So any new knife from American Blade Works, there's going to be a new knife, which I know he's working on 1 or 2. So, but the Model 1, this is it. This is what you're going to get. This is the carbon fiber version. That is $235. In G10 or micarta, some really cool multicolored G10s and some really nice micarta is $185. They are going to be available in dealers now. The first one is going to be KnifeWorks. They're out of them at the time that I'm putting this up, but KnifeWorks, who I do have an affiliate code with down below. You don't save anything, but I get a little kickback. It's very nice if you use that. Or you can buy anything there. They're a very awesome dealer. We'll be talking more about them in a featured video later on. But yeah, this is I really love this company, Michael Martin. I say this company, it's one dude. I like Michael Martin. Really nice guy and very reactive to customer suggestions. That's why we went through the Model 1 version 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in such rapid succession. I think if anything, he reacted too quickly to our suggestions and even just to customer suggestions. It wasn't just like reviewer suggestions. He's just a very, very quick reactor. But yeah, I really like this Model 6. I like the new blade finish he's using, just this very heavy stone wash instead of that kind of odd coating bead blast thing he was using before. The pocket clip is much improved. It's just a great freaking knife for a really good price for a, American-made MIG tech. It's basically what we would have called a mid-tech. I don't think hardly anybody uses that word anymore, but it's basically a mid-tech. Pretty good price. Can't complain there. Next up would be, of course, there's a Hinderer on here. It is the Firetac. Really like the Firetac a lot. It's got the tri-way pivot, all that stuff. It's just this is the Battle Black one, so I can say Battle Black Firetac, $425. Now, this is the recurve blade. Will there be another run of these this year? I don't know. I'm sure there'll be more Firetacs, but they like to change blade shapes. It's Hinderer. So just the Firetac as a whole, not specifically, this recurve version. But really, really like the Firetac. Had to put it on here. Next up, we have one that I don't think is going to be any surprise at all. It's going to be on everybody's top 10 of the year list. I'm 100% certain of that, and that would be the Demco 8020.5. You saw that the 8020 won my 2020 Knife of the Year over $300. This is less than half of $300. This is $150. So pretty cool that they come out with a less expensive version. In my initial unboxing preview, I wasn't sure. They were aiming for 120, 140 in import fees and all that stuff. It wound up being a bit more. It's 150, but still at that price, I still think it's pretty good. AUS 10A steel, Grivery handles. Some people aren't too excited about the AUS 10A, but this is made in the same factory as Cold Steel's, and I can say their Cold Steel AUS 10A is pretty darn good. I would not worry about that too much. The A makes a big difference. It's a really good steel. Comes in 2 different versions. This is the clip point version that one of you is going to win in my 25,000 sub giveaway, and this is my personal one. This is the Shark's Foot blade. Couldn't decide which one to keep. Put enough wear and tear in this one that it's mine now. It's just the way it's going to have to be. But it is an awesome knife. It is everything you love about the 8020, that awesome shark lock that's so fun and fidgety, but smaller and thinner. It's actually a very slim knife. It's very easy to carry. The 8020 is not like completely over ridiculously bulky thing, but this is just an excellent EDC size, especially the clip point even a bit more so, because when they're closed, this one's a little bit taller in the pocket. Still not bad at all, obviously, because that's the one that I'm carrying the most, but this one's even easier to carry. It's just really, really, really nice, and it's cool to see Demco breaking out into full production stuff. Now, at the time I'm recording this again, which is the 27th of May, these are not available. The first bunch of them will be sold at Blade Show, and then they will be at dealers immediately after that. If you miss out, don't stress too much. There's much larger batch coming later in like the fallish, I guess, was the rough guess of when those would be out. So if you didn't get one, keep your pants on. You'll be able to get one at some point. It is going to be regular full production, and really excited to see them doing this. And there are rumors of a custom version, the USA made version in this same dimensions, and one of these in full tie. I would lose my tiny little mind, but yeah, $150. It would take a whole lot of really awesome knives coming out between now and the end of the year for this not to be in my top 10 between 100 and 300 at the end of the year. Next up, we're going to bring out a budget offering. This is from Centcut, new brand for this year. It is a member of the Wii Civivi family, the Centcut Wii Civivi Triumvirate, as I like to call it. This is the Scepter. Now, Centcut was originally designed, if I'm understanding right, formulated this brand to be a little bit less expensive and just be like on Amazon and places like that and not go through dealers. That worked out, but there are some states where you just can't buy knives on Amazon. New York, where I'm sitting, is one of them. It's really difficult. So you can go to Centcut.com and get them there. They're still fulfilled by Amazon, which is so weird. Anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent, but this is a 9CR18 MOV blade. This one is the micarta version at $42. It's just a great little budget knife. It has all the stuff you love about Civivis, that great detent, really nice smooth bearing action. But they just have some unique designs. They came out with 3. This is the one that I like the most, and one of the budget knives that has definitely impressed me the most so far this year. Next up, this is also going to be in the budget category. Not the one I'm going to show you, but in general. This is the Real Steel Luna Boost. Now, this is one of the more expensive ones. I think this one is right around $100 in the full titanium, and I believe they might have stopped making the full titanium one. There's a carbon fiber one that's like $135, but there is a Luna Boost Eco, which I have a video recorded, which will be out soon. That's $48. The Luna was a very, very popular, hyper modern slip joint sort of design. Then they made the Boost, which is a frame lock, and it just made me take a knife that I really liked into one that I really love. It's very slim. It's very easy to carry. I like this titanium one because it's kind of classy looking. I carry it like it's kind of a gentleman's knife. Real Steel does a lot of business in Europe, and there are a few European countries. Germany, I know for sure, has an obscure law where you can have one-hand opening or locking, but not both. Well, this is both, but the thumb stud is easily removable. You can see there's a little screw there to take the thumb stud off. So you can just take that off, and now it's legal in lots of European countries, which I think is pretty cool. It just becomes a two-hand open knife. Now, I like it with the one-hand open, obviously, because I live in America where that is fine. But it's just a great knife. Very slim, very slicey. And again, $48 to $135, basically. If it winds up in Knife of the Year, it's going to be in that budget category for the under 100, because I think that's where your value is, just to get a really cool, pretty unique knife. And if you travel a little bit, you want something you can take with you, not worry about legality as much. This is a good one. So that brings us to the final one, which would be the Benchmade 945. This is something we've been begging Benchmade to do for so long. Make a smaller 940. Make a 3-inch 940. Because, a lot of people live in places where you have to have a 3-inch blade. They finally did with the 945. Actually, the 945 is the second one to come out. The 945 BK-2 came out earlier. That is with a coated blade and black G10. This is more in the traditional launch colors, I guess you'd call it, of the 940. This has purple standoffs instead of purple backspacer, but that was this green aluminum with the purple backspacer is what the original 940s were. This harkens back to that. S30V steel, $174. It's not inexpensive. But the thing I like about this is they didn't just make it shorter. The blade stock is thinner. It's actually a 940 design that slices really well, and Osborne that slices really well. I have changed the pocket clip on this one. I put a bug out clip on it. It works pretty well, but the stock clip works okay as well. But really like that they finally did this. We've been asking for it for a long time. There will be many, many, many variants of this, I am sure. Like I said, there's already 2, so yeah, go check one of these out too. Awesome, $174. So that is my list. That is my list of top 10 and 2 honorable mentions for Knife of the Year so far. And again, this is just 12 knives. It's going to be at least 25 at the end of the year. Some will fall off the list. More will be added. It will change a lot. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I've been Brian. Have a good one.